Should the Islanders bring a native Long Islander home on a PTO? And an idea that may help two key Islanders forwards this year. We've got that and a whole lot more coming up on this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast.
Your Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And hello, everybody, and welcome to the Monday edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast. Gil Martin, so glad you could be with us today, and thank you for being part of the Locked On Islanders family and making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. We have got a lot to discuss on today's show. But first, if there's something Islanders related on your mind, if you have a question, a comment, maybe a topic you'd like us to talk about on the show, feel free to send us an email. The email address, lockedonislanders@gmail.com. And if you leave your first name and where you're from, we are happy to mention you on the show when we discuss whatever it is that's on your mind. You could also follow the show on Twitter at Locked On Isles, and you could follow me, Gil Martin, on Twitter at Ice Wars, NYR, VSNYI. We'll keep you up to date on all the latest Islanders news, notes, and happenings, trade rumors, free agent signing rumors, anything leading up to training camp that's important. And training camp is just a few days away at this point. So lots to think about now as we head toward Lane Lambert's very first training camp as head coach of the New York Islanders. Wanted to open up the show today talking a little bit about a player that when he was an unrestricted free agent, and some people suggested, hey, bring this guy in, sign him, bring him home. I was hesitant. But now that it's possible to have this player on a PTO, a professional tryout contract or agreement in training camp, I think it would make a heck of a lot more sense. The player in question that I'm talking about is Sonny Milano. He is a native of Massapequa and was originally drafted in the first round, 16th overall by the Blue Jackets, played for the Blue Jackets and the Ducks last year, 66 games with Anaheim, 14 goals, 34 points, and 10 penalty minutes. Milano, 26 years old, won't be 27 until the playoffs next year, May 12th being his birthday. And, you know, if you were going to tell me that the guy the Islanders were going to bring in as a big free agent signing was not going to be, Nazem Kadri, and it wasn't going to be Johnny Gaudreau or any of those big name free agents who were just either out there or rumored to be out there. If you would have told me, okay, they're going to sign Sonny Milano and that's going to solve their problems up front and improve the forward group significantly, I wouldn't agree with that. I don't think that would have been the answer. But on a PTO, where essentially the player comes into training camp, gets to work with the team, gets an audition, and is able to showcase himself, not just for the Islanders, if this were the case, but actually for any other team that may want to see him play. I think, then if he does well in training camp, the Islanders would have the option to sign him probably for something at or close to the veterans minimum. A 1 year, $750,000 contract, let's say. To me, that would not be bad. That would be an upgrade, making your team younger, making your team a little hungrier. And I think that Milano, if you sign him, will give you a little extra juice because he's from Long Island, grew up an Islanders fan. You also have a situation where Milano played with Trevor Zegras a lot on a line last year. And again, even though 34 points in 66 games is third line type numbers, when you're playing with Trevor Zegras, if you could play with Zegras and his outstanding skill set, the odds are you could also play with a Mathew Barzal. And to me, the point is you bring in Milano on a PTO. You're doing him a favor because he needs a place to play. You got nothing to lose. If it doesn't work out, you don't sign the guy and you showcase him and give him a chance to hook on somewhere else. If he does do well, it could free up another player on the roster, another forward, whoever that might be, where, okay, we have Sonny Milano. We sign him to a $750,000 a year contract. That's nice, cap friendly. We get younger, and now we have enough depth where if we want to improve, shed a little cap, improve our forward line, bring in somebody, we can trade another forward and maybe get a team to take that player off of our hands and improve our team that way. So to me, as a big free agent name, Sonny Milano wasn't the answer. But on a PTO, to get a younger guy who hustles, who can be physical, who grew up an Islander fan, makes for a good story, Massapequa native, that would be a logical idea. He's already at times practiced on Long Island over the offseason. I would love to see a PTO signing right before training camp for the Islanders to bring in Sonny Milano. So, again, as a big name free agent, no, but as a PTO where you have nothing to lose whatsoever, I say, yeah, give me a little Sonny Milano. It would indeed make a certain amount of sense. So we'll see if the Islanders go that route. And certainly I'd like to know what you think about the idea of Sonny Milano joining the Islanders on a PTO. Email lockedonislanders@gmail.com. You could certainly, mention it in the comments on YouTube if you are watching the show on YouTube, or Twitter direct message, or even in a tweet mentioning me or Locked on Isles, and we can get your feedback on the idea of Milano joining the Islanders on a PTO. To me, low risk, probably not high reward, but low risk with a potential of decent, good type reward. And realistically, no risk, because if it doesn't work out, are you really taking away significant reps from other players by bringing Sonny Milano into training camp and playing him in a preseason game or two? Probably not. And overall, I think it is a good move to make. And from a fan perspective, to bring in a native Long Islander, it always adds a little extra juice to things when you do that, and I am always in favor of it. We have got a little bit more to discuss on today's show. I have an interesting proposal that could help two key Islanders forwards this year, and we've got an email from one of our listeners to get to. But first, today's episode is brought to you by Athletic Greens. Now, I started using AG1 because I'm not a great pill taker, and I didn't like taking, a whole bunch of different pills every day. So what is this stuff? Well, with one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. All these things. And look, it's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemical or artificial anything, and it costs you less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. So Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop and a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. So one thing that people are starting to talk about, and I think it is a logical thing that people are starting to talk about, and that is line combinations, because the Islanders did not go out and bring in the big name, the Vladimir Tarasenko, the Johnny Gaudreau, the Nazem Kadri, the big goal-scoring forward that was on everybody's list of desires is not here. So you're starting this season, or at least opening training camp, with very much the same group of forwards. And right now, I would say there are 14 forwards on this team that are NHL caliber established. And then a few others who, your Atu Rates and the like, who could fight for a job, but are not likely to get a job yet this year. And one player who has been rumored to be possible trade bait and who has been a bit of a disappointment in recent years has got to be Anthony Beauvillier. And Beau, making $4.1 million a year, had 21 goals back in 2017, 2018, and then hasn't topped 18 goals in a year since. Last year in 75 games, Beau with 12 goals and 34 points, which same amount of points really as Sonny Milano when you think about it. But the thing with Beauvillier that I think could help Beau and might be able to help Mathew Barzal as well. Beauvillier is one of the few players on the Islanders roster who has the speed to play with Barzy. And to get those two players on the ice together might just be something that could help both of them reach their potential and maybe become more productive offensively. The issue, to me, is neither one of them are big time shooters. And, this past year, 75 games, Beau had 154 shots on goal. That was the second highest total of his career. You're talking about 2 shots on goal, roughly, per game. Not even, barely over, rather. 75 games, 154 shots on goal, 252 shot attempts, which was his all-time career high. The one thing about Beauvillier last year, his shooting percentage was almost cut in half from the previous year. Went from 13.8 to 7.8, which is a big drop. Even if he gets up to like 10.5 or 11, you got to figure he's good for 18 to 20 goals, even if nothing changes. But to me, Beau can keep up with Barzy. And if I'm Lane Lambert and I'm heading into training camp and I didn't go out and get Barzal, that high caliber 30-plus goal guy that everybody was hoping to get, well, I think maybe Beauvillier with his speed, would shoot a little bit more if he's getting set up by Barzal, and B, would be able to keep up with him and allow Barzy and Beau to do things that they wouldn't be able to do if they were teamed up with another player. So again, I think this is a possible solution. Not that I would etch it in stone, but going into training camp, it would make sense to me to at least give it a try. Now, we have an email from Bob in Long Beach. And, Bob, first of all, thank you for the well wishes. as far as my recovery from COVID goes. Again, taking it a day at a time, and I want to thank everybody who wished me well. It's been a bit of a slog. You know, Bob writes about first Oliver Wahlstrom, how he has a quick, hard, accurate shot, has great upside to his game. And in order for the Islanders to be more successful, I think it's important for all 3 to 4 lines to play well and balanced. And Bob adds that he thinks that Lee, Palmieri, Parise, and Barzal can all do better in goal production this year. He also talks that the tone of the new season will be determined within the first 2 months, and that the Islanders need to come out strong and get lots of wins early. The Metropolitan Division is very competitive, and there are a lot of good teams out there. I agree with that 100%. He also adds that with regard to the Fisherman jersey, he prefers orange and blue. Not a fan of the waves, he says, on those Fisherman jerseys, and maybe the lettering of Islanders, Bob says, should be a little bit bigger. And then one other thing, he would like to go back to the idea in the NHL, like in the 80s, where the home team wore white and the road team wore the colored, or in the Islanders' case, blue jerseys. I wouldn't mind that, especially for 1 or 2 games that the Islanders are celebrating their 50th anniversary season. I think to wear white jerseys at home like they did in their first couple of years in the league, all the way up until the early 90s, I think that would make a lot of sense. And then another old school touch that Bob suggests, the old school fire type siren or horn when a goal is scored, like they used to do in the Nassau Coliseum. Again, being more retro, being more Islanders glory years, and again, in the spirit, I think, of the 50th anniversary of the team. I think they should have one at least game where they do that. They go back to the siren, maybe even have, the national anthem played on the organ and just organ music for one game, and the home whites. So I think all of those, Bob, are good ideas, and I thank you very much for the email. And again, please, listeners, viewers, feel free to email us, and we're happy to mention you on the show and talk about whatever it is that's on your mind. We have got more to discuss on today's show. We've got an Islanders free agent center who played for a season and a half in the late 2000s for this Islanders team and gave them a 20-plus goal season in one of them. Let's see if you can guess who that is. We've got that and more still to come on this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast. Time now for our Islanders birthday of the day and Sunday, which was September 11th. And of course, we do remember all the people we lost, especially here in Long Island on September 11th. But it was also the 42nd birthday of former Islanders center Mike Comrie. Comrie, a native of Edmonton, Alberta, drafted by his hometown team, the Edmonton Oilers, in the 3rd round back in 1999. Spent 2 seasons at the University of Michigan before making his NHL debut with the Oilers in 2000-2001. Later played for Philadelphia, the then Phoenix Coyotes, the Ottawa Senators, and then joined the Islanders in 07-08. Scored 21 goals, had 49 points that year with the Islanders centering their first line, then went on to play 41 games with the Isles in 08-09, scoring 7 goals and 20 points before being dealt to Ottawa, back to Edmonton, and then briefly with the Pittsburgh Penguins to close out his NHL career. In 589 career games, Comrie scored 168 goals, 365 points, and had 443 penalty minutes, add 32 playoff games, none of those with the Isles, but he had 4 goals and 10 points in those and was a member of the Senators team that went all the way deep into the playoffs in 06-07. Comrie, generously listed at 5'10", $185, small but quick, smart with the puck, good anticipation. And we're going to go back and look at his very first game as an Islander because it was one of his best. It's October 5th, 2007, season opener in the HSBC Arena in Buffalo. Rick DiPietro, the goalie for the Islanders. Ryan Miller in goal for Buffalo. And it was the Sabres getting on the board first. Jaroslav Spacek, his first from Brian Campbell and Paul Gausted at 2:56. Isles down 1-0. But Joseph Vasicek ties it for the Isles, his first. From Bruno Gervais and Miro Shatan at 9:16. All even at 1. Derek Roy makes it 2-1 Buffalo. Little less than 3 minutes later, the only assist to Maxim Afinogenov at 12:04, and it's 2-1 Buffalo. But the Islanders get back into it. Drew Stafford of Buffalo heads off for hooking, and it's Ruslan Fedotenko, his first. From Bill Guerin and our Islanders' birthday of the day, Mike Comrie at 16:08. Islanders up by a goal. Then Tim Connolly in the box for Buffalo for slashing. The Islanders cash in again just 34 seconds after the Fedotenko goal. Chris Campoli, his first from Fedotenko and Mike Comrie at 16:42. That makes it 3-2 Islanders. Then Drew Stafford ties it up for Buffalo, his first from Daniel Paet and Jaroslav Spacek at 18:19. It is a 3-3 game after 1. In the second, our Islanders' birthday of the day, Mike Comrie gets his first of the year. Ruslan Fedotenko and Bill Guerin with the assist at 7:35. But Thomas Vanek, a future Islander, answers for Buffalo at 8:23, so less than a minute later. That ties the game again, this time at 4-4. But Mike Comrie scores his second of the game, fourth point of the game for the Islanders at 16:04 of the second. Guerin and Marc-Andre Bergeron with the assist at 16:04. And the Islanders have a 5-4 lead after 2 periods in the third. The Islanders' power play gets going again. Thomas Vanek off for hooking for Buffalo. Trent Hunter, his first from Mike Sillinger and Bruno Gervais at 7:05. Islanders win it by a score of 6-4. But for Mike Comrie, our Islanders' birthday of the day, 2 goals, 2 assists. He gets a 4-point night. He's a +2. He has 4 shots on goal in 17 minutes and 42 seconds of ice time. And he got the game-winning goal in this one. Rick DiPietro, 22 saves to earn the win. Islanders with 34 shots to just 26 for Buffalo. Islanders open that 07-08 season on a winning note in Buffalo, and a great game in his Islanders debut for Mike Comrie. Comrie is our Islanders' birthday of the day, and we wish him all the best a day late here on his 42nd birthday. Want to thank you again for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On NHL. Locked On experts give you a daily 30-minute podcast on all things NHL all year long. Stay up to date on everything in the hockey world. Locked On NHL, your daily 30-minute NHL podcast. That's going to do it for this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe. And of course, let's go Islanders.